Hey y'all, so quick story time slash testimony about how I almost missed my blessing out of disobedience and how I thought I knew what I wanted when it came to my career, but God knew best. So 2020, I graduated with my bachelor's degree in social work, but I didn't want to do social work anymore. I really wanted to be a teacher. So fast forward to 2021, I started applying to graduate school to pursue a master's in teaching. So it was this one school that I applied to that once I graduate, I'll be able to teach in special ed classrooms or general education classrooms. And so I ended up getting accepted into the school, and I heard God tell me to go to that school. But then I looked at the tuition again and I said no. And then I also start getting these thoughts like, well, actually, I don't think I want to be endorsed in two different areas because I don't want people to try and hire me just because I have a special education endorsement and, there's a shortage of special education teachers. So I applied to another school that was closer to home and that was cheaper. And I decided in my heart that I was going to go to that school. And so I remember around this time I started substitute teaching. And one day I was working in a classroom with a special education teacher, even though the class I was working in was not special ed. And literally out of nowhere, she says to me, I think you should do special education because I really think you'll like it. And I thought to myself about what God told me, but I still said no. And then another time, I was substituting in a special education classroom, and I remember I went to my lunch break and I thought to myself, man, I think I like special education. And I thought back again to what God had told me, and I still said no because I'm like, I'm not doing that because that school is so expensive. So I remember it was a few weeks before registration for the school that I had planned that I was going to go to when I get an email from the school that God told me to go to. And they basically say, hey, we want to inform you that you have been selected for a grant. It will pay for your degree, your endorsements, blah, blah, blah. All you have to do is pay for your books. So when I read that email, it just made me think about how I was just being so disobedient to God because I couldn't see the outcome because it didn't make sense to me. But in the end, what did God do? He worked it out. And also how I thought I knew what I wanted. I thought I wanted to be a regular classroom teacher, but it turns out that I love special education. And I don't think I shared this early in the video, but when I was working in those special education classrooms, it's like I could hear God saying, this is where you need to be. But I was still neglecting it because I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to pay for that school. And I just want to work in a regular classroom, even though I did love and enjoy working in special education classroom, just being disobedient just because at that point. But moral of the story, be obedient to God, even when it don't make sense. And also, God knows what you really, really want, even if you think you know.